How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. Today, we have a new card coming to Marvel Snap. That is Hitmonkey. For those of you who don't know, Hitmonkey is a 2-cost 0 power. On reveal, gain +2 power for each other card you played this turn. So cards like Mysterio and Bishop will synergize really well with him. Other cards like Beast, Mr. Negative, cards that let you play other cards for cheap and have really explosive turn sixes where you can drop a lot of cards on one turn are going to work really well. So in this video, I want to give you the 3 decks that I'm excited to try right when Hitmonkey drops tonight at 8 o'clock. But as usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap and you love video games, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell. Let's talk about the decks. All right, so deck number 1, I think is a pretty standard kind of bounce list that everyone is going to try. Once again, Mysterio and Bishop work very well. If you don't know, Mysterio will play a card at each location, and when you play Mysterio for 2, you get technically 3 played cards. So if you play Mysterio and Hitmonkey on the same turn, Hitmonkey will get +2 3 times, so he'll be a 6 power. Also, side note, if you don't have Kitty Pryde, I think Ant-Man will probably work really well here. Ant-Man with Valkyrie is always just a good combo. But the idea of this deck is to play your 1-drops, preferably Bast to buff all of the cards in your hand. Flood the board on turn 2 and 3. You can even play Hitmonkey on turn 3 with another 1-drop. Just flood the board with cards. By turn 6, hopefully you've returned a lot of cards to your hand with Beast. Then you can drop a bunch of 0-cost cards with Mysterio along with Hitmonkey and just get a really big Hitmonkey on 6. And then you also have some control on turn 6 where you can play Shang-Chi or Valkyrie. It looks like a fun deck. I don't know how competitive it's going to be, but you do take advantage of Hitmonkey. I wonder how strong it will be if you don't draw Hitmonkey. You're kind of just relying on Bishop and maybe getting some extra hood demons, getting a good Shang-Chi off. So this is interesting. It's probably the most basic version of Hitmonkey. I'm going to try it day 1, but the next deck is the one I'm most looking forward to, and that is Mr. Negative. So this deck has kind of your standard Mr. Negative package with magic thrown in there. I think I got this deck actually from Specimen on YouTube. If you haven't checked out his channel, I'll put a link in the description. Go watch him. I'm sure you've already seen him. But the idea of this deck is to get Bast out to buff cards in your hand, play Psylocke on turn 2 so you can drop Mr. Negative on turn 3. Turn 4 and 5, you're just hoping to draw some good negative cards, play a Wong, maybe an Iron Man or something, get some cards out on turn 4 and 5, depending on what you have in your hand. And then on turn 6, drop as many 0-drops, low-cost cards, along with Hitmonkey. If you played a Magic on turn 5, obviously you have a turn 6 and a turn 7, which works out really well with Mr. Negative. So I think this deck is probably the most fun looking deck. Hitmonkey, obviously with 0 power, just works out really well with Mr. Negative. So make sure you give this deck a shot. Again, go check out Specimen's channel if you haven't already. And for our next deck, and that is the She-Hulk deck. This deck was actually given to me by my buddy Glazer over the Snap Judgments podcast. You guys saw him in my last video. Again, if you haven't checked them out, make sure you go do that. But this is the deck that he gave to me that he's going to be trying, and it looks really fun. So once again, with Hitmonkey, you have a lot of good 1-drops that you can bounce back to your hand with Beast. You have Mysterio and Bishop. Good combo. This deck plays Quinjet, which will reduce the cost of the demon from Hood, as well as the cards that you get from Agent Coulson. But mainly, Quinjet is in there for the cards that you copy with Moon Girl. And the idea is to get a Moon Girl off on turn 4, copy your She-Hulk, copy your Hitmonkey, copy a few other cards that are 2-drop probably, have those cards cost get reduced by 1, and flood the board on turn 6 with double She-Hulk, double Hitmonkey, and another 1 or 2 0-drops or 1-drops, depending on what you can get off of Beast and what's reduced by Quinjet. Overall, it looks like a really fun deck. I think I'm most excited for the Mr. Negative one, then this one, and then of course the standard bounce deck. So those are the decks I'm going to be trying. Try them out. If you make some changes, let me know in the comments what worked for you, what didn't. And as usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap and you love video games, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell. See you in the next one.